Hello, Tampa. This is Jeff Stanislow, your host of the Let's Go Low radio show, brought to you by Golfers Unite right here on AM 820, the Big 8 radio. We got Mike Hicks, Payne Stewart's former caddy, back with us. We just finished up a great segment talking about the Open, and we're going to dive into what's next that's coming to you this weekend. It's probably moving day here on Saturday as you're listening. And it's going to be the 3M Open at TPC Twin Cities. Mike, thanks for coming back for another segment.
Sure.
So we're winding down the season here. We got 3 events to go, including the one that's going on right now, the 3M. And FedEx points are on the line, 500 FedEx points. It's only an $8.8 million purse. But you know, one of the surprising things is Scottie Scheffler's playing in it. And during the break, we talked a little bit about Scottie being in the event. You know, what are your thoughts about Scottie being in this event? You thought for sure that he would take, 3 weeks off to get ready for the playoffs and the FedEx and all that good jazz. But here he is going to tee it up in TPC Twin Cities.
Yeah, surprising. Don't know why he's going up there. It could be
working on something.
It could be a number of things. Not wanting to take 3 weeks off. There could be an outing or something. He could be getting appearance money to come up there and do a day for somebody. Who knows what it all entails? But probably just the fact he doesn't want to have 3 weeks off. He knows he's very close with his game, so he's, maybe wanting to get back on the winning ways. That tournament's nothing but a putting contest. I mean, they'll shoot the grass off that place usually because it's soft. The wind usually doesn't blow this time of year up there. If the weather if it's warm up there, they have to keep, it's bent grass green, so they have to keep the greens watered to keep them from dying. So it's usually just throwing darts, and they go low. The first time I worked up there was a Champions Tour event for Scott Hoke, because the Champions Tour used to play there for many years. And then the PGA Tour, got the 3M sponsor, and now they go up there. But, it's okay course, nothing great, but, they usually go pretty low there.
This is Jeff Stanislow. You're listening to Mike Hicks. We have an extended caddy corner because we wanted to cover the 3M Open and kind of winding down the season here for the PGA Tour. Mike is available for conversation, dialogue, or if you want to have maybe Mike come on your bag for something, or you're interested in having him come out and do some lessons, you can visit MikeHicksGolf.com. This episode is brought to you by Golfers Unite, golfersunite.com. Again, Tampa, thanks for tuning in. This is our 22nd episode of the Let's Go Low show right here on AM 820, and we appreciate all your support. So, Scottie, just like he's so close, there's just something a little off. And I think you're right about taking 3 weeks off is a long time. And maybe you can elaborate on that. But, he showed a lot of frustration at the Open, especially on Sunday, where he was a little bit angry, as I wouldn't say mad like I've seen other golfers be mad as you've seen them all, like Rahm throwing his club and what have you at the Open. But for him, he showed the frustration is starting to come through. So, what do you think he's working on? And is 3 weeks a long time to be off, before you go into the FedEx and the playoffs?
Well, first and foremost, if he putts at all, he walks away with it. Tee to green, he was better than anybody all week. If he putts just decent, he wins by a bunch, right? He lost by 3. He would have won by 3 or 4 had he putted decent. So he putted horrible. Tee to green, he was better than anybody. And it, that missing all those putts, man. Nobody's immune to it. They eventually you explode. I mean, eventually it just wears you down to where you got to let it out. And
Well, if Scotty's listening, we'll have to get him an ArcMaster, huh?
yeah, right. Yeah, he needs an ArcMaster. That's right. No, listen. It's nothing to do with his stroke or anything. Listen, they're just not going in right now. I mean, he hit the hole a bunch. He putted well. He just didn't make anything. So there's no need for him to panic about anything. They showed him early on Sunday out there with his putting coach Phil Kenyon, and I don't know if anybody that's listening was watching that, but a great tip for everybody that is listening. He was out there and he was hitting 20, 30 foot putts, and he was keeping his head still for the putt had been gone 3 or 4 seconds before he even looked up. So he was obviously trying to get a good feel for staying in the putt longer, keeping his head still longer. Like I said, he putted well. He just didn't make anything, and that's just golf. I mean, there's no need for him to, and I'm sure he's not. There's no need for him to panic. But if he putts at all, he walks away with it.
Right. He's dialed in. Well, I teed up a plug for you for the ArcMaster, and you didn't take the bait. Why don't you tell people what the ArcMaster is, Mike? This is Jeff Stanislow. You're listening to an episode of Let's Go Low, brought to you by Golfers Unite, golfersunite.com. And if you want to check out the ArcMaster, Mike is actually the USA distributor for this fantastic product. Go ahead, Mike. Tell us a little bit about the ArcMaster.
So the ArcMaster is a training aid. It will make you feel what a perfect putting stroke feels like. You can get on this thing and right away it'll expose any flaws you have in your putting stroke. And you can set the thing up to where, like I said, you can feel what a perfect putting stroke feels like. And then it's just all about retraining your muscles to create that muscle memory to make that perfect stroke. It's an incredible training device. I believe in it. I encourage everybody out there that's listening, if you get a chance to get on one of these things, it's called the ArcMaster. Totally advise you to do it.
Yeah, if you guys want to check out the ArcMaster, just go to MikeHicksGolf.com. Mike is the USA distributor for the product. You can mount it on a wall. You can change it to whatever arc angle and degrees that you need to fit your putter in. I've been on the machine and can attest that it exposed my tendency to just go out initially versus back. It kept on fighting me at my putting stroke. I thought I was going in, but I was actually going out. It is amazing. There's some videos on there. Go to MikeHicksGolf.com and check it out. So, Mike, shifting back to the 3M Open. So Kitayama is, trying to defend his win from last year to become the first back-to-back champion for the 3M in history. Nobody's ever won it twice. But he's hardly been hurt around this year. What are you thinking there? You think he shows up or?
Well, I mean, obviously he's going to have, some good feelings around there, but man, look, there, like I said, it's a putting contest this week. So who knows who's going to have the hot putter? I mean, Kurt's a nice player, but there's a lot of nice players. Listen, if Scottie gets the putter going, he'll win. Pretty much. You probably go ahead and, we know he's going to be right there. I mean, he missed the cut at Scottish Open, but who knows what happened over there. I didn't watch any of it. But he came right back and led the field tee to green at the Open. So, he'll be right there. If he putts, he wins. because he'll be the best player there.
Yeah, I mean, it's as much as you kind of like, I'd like to see Scottie get that win. He's been so close. The game of golf wants to see him get that win as well. And this course, like you said, it's putting, and so if those putts fall, that didn't happen at the Open. I think you're right, because the rest of his game is dialed in. This is Jeff Stanislow. You're listening to Let's Go Low right here on AM 820 in Tampa Bay. We appreciate all your love and support. The episode is brought to you by Golfers Unite and our continued support from Mike Hicks and Mike Hicks Golf, Payne Stewart's former caddy. We appreciate him always being a part of this conversation, so you guys can get inside the ropes and inside the head of someone that has 40 years on a PGA Tour bag with the likes of Payne Stewart and so many other professionals. The experience is amazing. So we're kind of getting down towards the end here, and these 500 FedEx points kind of mean something. So what, as you're kind of a caddy and, you're talking with your player and you're kind of looking at the end stretch of this and, whether to get in the FedEx playoff or gearing up for the playoff, what are the conversations that you're having with your player towards the end of the year?
Well, it really depends on where you're at. I mean, there's only probably 20 guys that are locked in right now to the top 30. So, you obviously and then it all, they change it so much. I mean, you're the criteria around how you qualify for this, and it changes. Everybody that's trying to get in the playoffs, they're going to be grinding the next 3 weeks. If you're saying the top 30 right now, you're locked into the first 2 pretty much. So you're probably trying to schedule where you're not playing so many in a row, because you more than likely you're going to have to play 3 in a row if you make it all the way to the Tour Championship. And in the heat of the summer, that can be tough, especially going to Memphis in August. That's rough. That's a tough week. So, guys are just, if you got to play, you're going to play, and just trying to get in the playoffs. And guys that are, locked into the first 1 or first 2, or, debating on whether to play all 3 of these next 3, or do they take a week off? I mean, so, a lot of different scenarios there.
So it's interesting. I mean, everybody, Scottie still remains number 1. But in the FedEx points, Matt Fitzpatrick is leading Scottie just by 6 points with 3 wins. Got Cameron Young in 3rd, Siwoo Kim, Colin Morikawa, Ludwig, Rory, Bridgman, Chris Gotterup, Tommy Fleetwood is kind of rounding out the top 10 there. And these guys are ready to fight. Now, the format of the FedEx and the playoffs and stuff like that, I always get confused about like how you got to start with so many points and then the other people got to catch you, and you got I don't know. Maybe we'll do an episode that just kind of dissects that so people can help understand what happens at the end of the year. But quickly, what's your assessment of how they do it?
So they've changed now. I think if you make it to the Tour Championship, everybody starts even now, I guess, and anybody can win it. So McIlroy even said he's not even playing the first 2 events because it doesn't matter where he finishes in the top 30, because he still can win the FedEx. So he's not even going to the first 2 playoff events. So, I mean, it's they try to make this thing, fair and exciting, but, you spend all year trying to get, to that number 1 or number 2 spot. And then all of a sudden you get you make it to the Tour Championship, and now everybody's on level playing ground. That don't seem right to me. I mean, you play all year to get to finish real high, and then all of a sudden a guy that finished 30th is starting out equal with you. I don't know. To me, that don't make sense.
Yeah,
But
it
who
is
knows?
interesting. They do change it a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It used to be like you played in them, and then you based on how it shuffled.
Then they did it to score, and then I mean, I don't even know what the format. Obviously, according to McIlroy, from what I heard in the interview that I watched, everybody that gets in the Tour Championship can win the FedEx Cup. Like, everybody's starting even, and that's why he said, "Hey, I'm not even playing the first two playoff events because it doesn't matter where I finish, as long as I get in the top 30," which he's locked into.
Right. So this is Jeff Stanislaw. This is another great episode of Let's Go Low right here on AM 820. We thank Mike Hicks from MikeHicksGolf.com for joining us. This episode is brought to you by Golfers Unite. Check out golfersunite.com. Thank you, Tampa, for all the support. And as always, let's go low.